You ready to fight for Super Earth?
Are you a super citizen?
Oh, of course.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, no, I'm not either, actually, yeah. I'm whatever the broke one is. Or whatever, yeah.
The base price, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, guys. Welcome back to another Lords of War Games and Hobbies video. Chris, this is Jay. And we do these videos twice a week where we chat about relevant industry stuff. We talk about our hobby shop. We talk about our experience in the hobby. And occasionally we put out some tutorials on how to actually do this stuff as well. Sometimes. Those videos are harder to make, though.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I respect those people so much that actually put that stuff out.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually, we've both been playing Helldivers for the past little while. Mm-hmm. And it particularly got me thinking a couple weeks ago about, and this happens anytime I do any, like, video game thing that really connects with me. I start to think about how my, like, it like, kind of, like, leaps over into my hobby a little bit, mm-hmm. where I'm like, oh, what in my hobby could I do that was kind of like this or whatever? Yeah. Because you're just excited, right? And I was kind of just looking at Games Workshop and I was like, you know, they really don't have any offerings that scratch the same itch mm-hmm. as the Helldivers experience. Let me explain what I mean by that. So one reason I think Helldivers is really, if you haven't played it, it's a cooperative game where you and your buddies basically like it's like 40K. You're like drop shipping into a planet. Yep. And then you have these objectives to do and you're just fighting hordes of nasty enemies mm-hmm. with your friends basically. Yeah. And in that framework, I'm like picturing, you know, Marines and Guard and hordes of Tyranids and hordes of Necrons coming at you. And I'm like, here's an opportunity that I really feel like Games Workshop has probably missed out on over the last, you know, maybe 10, 15 years, is creating some kind of cooperative experience with their miniatures or some kind of like PvE style sort of game you could play with your friends.
I mean, I guess they're going to argue maybe the Cursed City type of product might be like that, mm-hmm. or you know, some of their, you know, whenever they did Apocalypse or these types of like kind of big things. But I think what Chris is getting at is a bit of like it's like how you think of the success of Commander and Magic. You know, it's a format that is designed all completely around playing like
casually,
multiple players at a table, these big team battles. I mean, we've been doing, you know, people have been ad hocing team battles for a long time, doubles games, etc. But it would be interesting or cool to see Games Workshop like build a game or scenarios or everything where the miniatures. It's almost like if you had, I don't know, it's like combat patrols, but if they were, I don't know, if they
I think Kill Team might be the best format for it.
Kill Team
like
would be
for Kill Team.
Yeah.
Like your little kill team is like on a 6x4, and then you have like hordes of enemies kind of coming in around you with some things you have to do.
What was the other one? Was it the Assassinorum or whatever? There was that board game. Like they really don't do them a lot. It's kind of I'm curious if they put a big like a lot of resources and marketing and they launched a line of products that was built around either small squads or just heroes. I mean, yeah, it's not just an arena, but it has to do with like. I think what makes Helldivers special is the map, the interesting objectives, the stratagems. You know, it's not played on a little board. It's
right.
Like it's kind of big. Like it's still big. Like it would still be like a full 6x4 or whatever you play 40K on. It wouldn't be just a little bite size and
it's like how do you take this wall? You know, mm-hmm. we're kind of staring in front of our giant 40K section.
Yeah.
How do you take this wall and say, okay, you can use this, but in a non-head-to-head format. How do you get more life out of the same miniatures? I guess in a brand new way.
Yeah.
And I feel like they haven't really been creative in a while with that.
No, and it wouldn't be much. You'd have to probably just create a few boxes of different. I mean, you could probably. I mean, if it's Helldivers, it's like literally using Tyranids and Necrons or whatever.
Yeah, I know. No,
but you could.
No way.
Yeah, but you could invent some boxes that kind of go with it. But I guess the interesting challenge would be how do you package this so that it's not just little cardboard chits and things, and you have enough minis to make it work. Or maybe it's just a rule set that they release and a few ancillary products. But I don't know. I mean, we're using Helldivers as an example. It could be anything else. It's just a matter of like how do you make a game that's enticing to play with multiple players. And maybe it's literally a special rule set of team battles of 40K or AOS or whatever, or something where you purposely have 3-on-3s or whatever. I don't know, but feels like it is missing that easy to join low. I don't know. It's like
Low stakes almost,
low
right?
stakes.
Like low stakes is
I
the
think
key.
what with Commander or how you would like bleed that in is you kind of would need to have a more like bird's eye view of the battlefield where like things can die and that's fine. I think often when we play Games Workshop games, we're very attached to the minis that are on the table and what they're doing in their epic and cinematic situations. But I think to make it work, you would have to kind of have it a little more zoomed out. I don't know, but it'd have to be a cross between a board game and a
in a way,
so that it's also easy to pick up by the line.
I think so. You have some games out there. Ash on Gorilla Miniature Games covers a bunch of these, but one that comes to mind is Rangers of Shadow Deep, which is like basically you can play it solo essentially, and that's another thing that we've been seeing in the board game world blow up. Is the solo board games, or at least games that can also be played as solo. And it's to me it's a missed opportunity. It's a hole in their product range where you could say, how do you fix that? Like how do you get some kind of experience where someone could like basically do the whole hobby cycle by themselves if they wanted to or whatever, at home.
They do it, but it's so sparse. We had Blackstone Fortress. It's like they're just flashes. They're around for a couple of years and then they vanish. And I think they need to have something that's like a more mainstay that doesn't just like. So. And they make them in such low runs. So you could have it, and they usually sell all right because they're chock full of interesting minis. There was another one they did. Yeah, it's like I feel like they do maybe one. It's not even every year though. It doesn't.
It's not every year. Like you said, they're flashes. There's little sideshows.
Yeah.
They and like I said, they don't really like encapsulate people's existing collections in a way that would kind of inspire people to play.
So I guess the argument. So this is probably the grand argument for the return of Mordheim or something, where you can have the like small warbands. Or
that's kind of interesting. Like that would be a hot because traditionally Mordheim was like a head-to-head sort of gangs thing, but you could build it more in like a Frostgravey sort of style where you're kind of like coexisting in a game and there's like just like a whole bunch of other stuff you have to fight and that's kind of interesting. But I don't know, I personally feel like that's a missing thing that I think would touch a lot of people's hobbies because it takes the competitiveness out of the game, I think. Fully.
And then the what do you call it, the way the rule set's written is different, like you said. It doesn't have to have this like maintenance that is required where you have to keep balances and things can be imbalanced and it's
absolutely fine. You almost encourage it, right?
Because then it becomes this interesting challenge of how do we beat this difficulty and what combos of special rules and luck do we need to
you're like you finished the hardest difficulty but you didn't take these heroes that everyone knows are garbage or whatever, so can you do it with them? It does remind me a bit of games like Kingdom Death, which I think was a little on the extreme end of difficulty, but it was captivating in that regard. It was that was probably the closest thing because it was like you and just a few players and you're dropped in this terrible place and everything you do is basically something negative is going to happen. Even if you win, you lose, kind of funny thing. I think I remember, you might have won, but your guy went insane.
When he went insane and now he's gone nuts and he can't, function. Type of thing because you got Banshee screamed at and has lost his mind. So
as one does.
Right. And you can look at other gaming miniature games we have. Like Marvel Crisis Protocol, for example, scales extremely well to team battles and things. And actually, that's another avenue they haven't really approached either. They could have swarms of enemies in that game, probably. I think it is a missed opportunity.
We're giving you this for free. There's no charge here.
No, exactly. So we are. I feel like we're missing that in the lineup for sure. And I don't know, but it's up to them to do it. I don't know. I'm not a rules designer or writer.
Yeah, and I think one of the modern kind of things with these big companies is like they get a little bit risk averse, right? They don't want to necessarily put a ton of resources into something that they're not sure about. And even Magic, like they didn't make that game at all. It was completely fan made.
Yeah, and they were smart enough to
realize
be like, oh, a lot of people like this, and we're going to lean into it and make products for it. So maybe it's up to someone out there. To come up with something awesome. I mean, looking at like the specialist game releases and what they have going on, it's I get it. They want to have like, basically, if you think of like Kill Team and Warcry, they're all like little, that whole thing is about like how can we get people to just buy a box of a squad of something, and then you have Warhammer Underworld is supposed to be the card game with the little teams in the arena. And then Necromunda is supposed to be your like really narrative-y, progression campaign-y type of product. But yeah, I don't know. This is just like simple. Let's have a cool setting. You know, even like it makes me think of like how do they not have a product that crosses with Darktide or Vermintide? You know, which is essentially like what we're talking about, right? So like,
I know.
How do you not have like a box that literally says like? I mean, they're not going to put the Darktide badge, I guess.
Especially now that Old World's back, right?
Yeah.
It's like here's your Darktide game or whatever, where it's or sorry, not Darktide, Vermintide or whatever, where you just like you get a box of clan rats, a box of this, and then you get a hero pack, and you just like it's a horde game, and
maybe
just
they
like
sell a really
chopping
cool,
rats.
Maybe they sell a really cool. It can be expensive, doesn't matter. A big cool board too, with lots of terrain that you can buy and just set up and have your Vermintide experience. I think that would be a blast.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah. So anyway,
just food for thought. We thought, you know, it came to mind, and I thought it'd be a kind of a fun thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And
what do you think? What do you want them to make?
What do you think is missing from their product line? And if you were to make a game like this, what would it look like? What would it say? Have you written something? Well, share it with us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
If you like this kind of videos, tune in every week. We put out 2 of these, and you can support us on Patreon. We have a link below, and subscribing and liking also helps as well. Until next time, guys, take care.
Thanks. Bye.